Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us again for what promises to be an extremely interesting chat with two people, veteran journalists, or have been covering the Congress for years and have a real insight into what's happening in the Congress right now. I was surprised actually post this particular. I don't know why there's a feedback. Just give me a minute. Let me just figure out this feedback. This is classic. With two people. Classic this thing. Okay, I've switched it off. Okay. So let's start now officially. So my viewers can troll me about this for the next 15 minutes. That's fine.
Finalists may troll you. I don't know what your viewers. But...
Well, I mean, since I'm going, it's karma, right? Since I'm going to troll the Congress for the next hour, I've set the tone for the show. But let's dive right into it. Rasheed, who all went for the dinner?
Yeah, so that's very interesting. G23 started with 23 people way back in August 2021. And then suddenly 9 people have gone, missing from it. And some of the very Mukul Vasnik, Virappa Moily, and several others, Virenduka Chaudhary. And there have been 4 additions in Manishankar Iyer, in Shankar Singh Waghela, Pradeep Kaur, and Rajendra Kumari Bhattal. Interestingly, Shankar Singh Waghela is technically speaking is not even the Congress. So, and G23 actually thought that after March 10, it will become G50 or G60. So, and they're trying to rope in many state units and also it's work in progress. But the key point here is where I think section of media and those who are outside the, so to say, Congress Parivar are missing it. That is it really, battle to finish, fight to finish? Or did something, aapka ghar, mera ghar, sabka ghar kind of thing. So in that sense, the 4 or 5 people, they stand out. They are against Rahul Gandhi. And Priya would, vouch for them in the sense that she would tell more about them. These are the people who say that as long as Rahul Gandhi is there, they cannot see a future of Congress or their future for that matter. So that's a very difficult medicine for Sonia Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi to swallow. Or for that matter, you look at from Sonia Gandhi's point of view, a section of Congress doesn't want Rahul, but they want Priyanka and they want her. So is that something that is going to be acceptable?
Do you think that's going to be acceptable, Priya?
I don't think so, because, again, like Rasheed is saying, there are 2 options open even within the G23. One is that you go ahead, they want to basically divide. I think Rasheed has also written a bit about this also, that they want to divide the post, or the responsibilities of the Congress, because the Congress Gandhis are the glue. You cannot, keep the Congress together without the Gandhis. That is something which is, I think more or less everybody may probably agree on. But the Gandhis don't win elections. So then what do? Should you make give the organization in charge of get a new person to elect it to take care of the organization, while Rahul Gandhi becomes, I think, the leader of Lok Sabha or the parliamentary face. I think that is something that I read what Rasheed had written is one suggestion. The other is the opposite suggestion, and that's in fact I think that is what I don't know whether Rasheed agrees with me, but I my inclinations are that might work better for the Congress, which is that you have keep the Gandhis, so keep the party together, so keep them in the head of the organization, but the electoral face of the Congress has to be someone more palatable, someone who can win elections, because Priyanka Gandhi ka USP is what also, that she galvanizes the cadres. She makes within the party, she has a rousing effect, but her track record on winning elections is 0-0, she's even worse than Rahul. So keep Priyanka, keep the Gandhis to keep as the glue within the organization, but for the outside work, to woo the outside electorate, get another face. I would actually suggest the reverse of what Rasheed is suggesting. But, back to him as to which one he thinks is a better option. But the Gandhis, they can't do without them. That's, I think we both agree on.
But would you say the knives are out for the Gandhis?
Very much. I don't know which one you asked, but I think I would agree.
You think the knives are out?
Yeah, I'll put it slightly differently. I think Gandhis for the first time in many years, much more than 14 or 19, they are looking very vulnerable because they need the Congress organization. Look at the kind of atmosphere that is there. Look at even the films like Kashmir, files and all, which are trying to, weaponize a kind of uh, a filmmaking medium for some kind of very potent political narrative. And there it goes back to Rajiv Gandhi's doorstep, that as if he was responsible for that entire thing. So Gandhis need, Congress support, organizational support, the huge organization that it is, possibility any kind of onslaught from the enforcement directorate, CBI, or any other agency. Let's not forget, you see, the Congress or Gandhis have a huge political baggage. I mean, they've been part and parcel of the, so to say, the post-independent Congress history. So in that sense, I think Gandhis are very careful. They know that there are three types of people in G23. There are one who are like real well-wishers who want reform in the Congress, who want Congress to become far more democratic. There are people who want Congress minus Gandhi, so they want to own they think themselves as stakeholders, and they want to take charge of Gandhi. They're saying कि आपसे नहीं हो पाएगा kind of thing. And there are third people who are trying to attract attention of the parties outside, the BJP, Aam Aadmi Party, and Trinamool, that we are there. Look at us. We can be partner. We can be the players for 2024. So all these things are happening, but the organization mainstay. And with the last 48 hours, a lot of efforts have been made to rope in Kerala unit of Congress Party. Remember, it's a big organization there, and get T.S. Singh there, who's a minister in Chhattisgarh, on their side, a Sachin Pilot, but it's not happened. So in the number game, if you look at the AICC, if there are 1,300 voters, then perhaps 1,200 plus are still with Gandhis. So that's the situation.
So Priya, the Gandhis should not be having sleepless nights over this. This is the G23 perking up, having dinners, menus are discussed, and then that's it. Like, it's business as usual.
Business as usual, and they're also now very smartly dividing the G23. If you notice, Rahul Gandhi reached out to Bhupinder Hooda. That's a very interesting person to reach out to. If the G23 has a mass leader or a leader with access to funds that he's happy to distribute, is Bhupinder Hooda. He is someone who can win elections. He gives credibility to the G23. Every time we asked them, where is your election face, your electoral winning face, and they put forward Bhupinder Hooda.
But Priya, Rahul. Sorry to interrupt, Priya, but did he ask Bhupinder Hooda that what is collective leadership?
I believe so. I also read something of that sort, that Bhupinder Hooda is said to have gone and put forward the case. We don't know whether Bhupinder Hooda has turned court, or what we are being told is Bhupinder Hooda has actually gone and put forward the demands of G23. And rather than, agreeing to divide this thing, which is why even Azad's statement when he met Sonia Gandhi, then he said, we are happy with Sonia as the leader, took everybody aback. They think that again, ye pura storm in the teacup hai. The Gandhis have again managed to divide and rule. But from what we are being told is that is not the case. They are still waiting. They've gone, both the sides have gone and met Rahul, Sonia, and given the demand for this so-called collective leadership, return of the parliamentary board, stuff like that, to make sure that it's not, but it's all controlled with the Gandhis, Advaita. So you're right, whatever the solutions are there, nobody's saying it's without the Gandhis. It is whatever the new formulas are, the Gandhis are a role, whether they're a pivotal role, side role, but once they are in the mix, then they are going to control. So that is something the G23 has not yet been able to do, is to sideline the not sideline, but what Kesri did, what happened with Sitaram Kesri, he was shown the door. That will not happen to the Gandhis, and that will give them peaceful nights, at least for the next 3 months, because they've postponed everything till the elections. As Chidambaram said, very patronizingly, okay, you want us to choose an interim president for an interim, because, the fact is that Sonia Gandhi is there for 3 months, they are going to be elections. So why choose another interim for the interim? And he's got away with the lawyer's trick. Yeah.
Rasheed, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, so I think what Priya has very nicely articulated, but that's also, there is a problem for the Congress party. You look at, we all saw and we talked about 10th of March, results came out on 11th of March. Where was Prime Minister Narendra Modi? He was there in Gujarat, kind of, campaigning and having a kind of build-up. What did Congress do after the CWC? Chintan Shur, after month and a half, when Parliament session ends, how many Congress people are there in Parliament? So, and why wait for 1.5 months? What is so pressing? So there is no sense of urgency. See, and I was talking to some former cabinet minister today, and he was telling me, he said, look, what is happening is the Congress, it's dying, decaying, regardless of whether, people revolt or not. It is like what happened when the last great Mughal of that Aurangzeb in 1707, he died. And it took 150 years, in 1857, when Bahadur Shah Zafar basically, he caved in. So what I'm saying is that what happened between 1707 to 1857, people have very faint idea how many, sort of kings came and go. If I start asking, people, many would not even be able to tell, 5 names because of Shah. They come up and say Shah Alam, because why was Shah Alam famous? Because there was a verb, ke Sultanate Shah Alam, Delhi Astpalam, but from Delhi till Palam. That time Palam was considered as a separate kind of township. So that was so Congress has become that kind of Shah Alam, but still it is, it has a stamp of a, big political party or a oldest political party in India, and some would say perhaps one of the oldest parties in the world.
One of our viewers has asked an interesting question, Mahip. She wants to know is that why won't Congress survive without the Gandhis? If they fix the internal system and define procedure in party constitution for how to go about things, there would be stability in the long term. So this is a suggestion, come a question.
If I have to take it, I think the whole problem is, the fact that they will not agree on any other name. If you'll see what's going to happen in 3 months. Even I don't think the G23 is going to, if they collectively put up a candidate, that itself will be a huge feat in unity. And the second part is that they have to, we saw what happened in Narasimha Rao with Sitaram Kesri. So long as there's no unison, nobody supporting one name, the Gandhis hold the rules. It is the old divide and rule policy. You can have whatever constitution amendment, you can do that Rasheed knows the constitution better than I do. But
I have a copy of it.
Of the Congress constitution. I don't think many Congress leaders have it. Rasheed has it. So I don't know. You can find a loophole, Rasheed. But end of the day, the way it translates on ground, I don't see it happening. I'm pessimistic about it.
I'm curious to know this. Why do you think the Gandhis have lost connect with the masses in the way that they have? Like the narrative has gone completely one way, and Rahul Gandhi very often is saying the complete opposite thing. I'm not saying, you need to be populist, but you need to have a sense of timing, a sense of the mood on the ground as you go forward.
I think, Advaita, one key reason is that Congress is not talking enough. I mean, how many times you have seen in last, 10 years or so that, Congress holding its conclave or workers, are talking among themselves or some of the things that are coming. I can give you some substantive example. We saw what happened when Article 370 was abrogated. There was voices within the Congress. At that time, Scindia was in Congress, and so was Dr. Karan Singh and several others. They had raised questions. They had questioned that Congress's stand. But from the Congress side, there was a kind of old stand. So I think they are not revisiting. Look at this entire hijab controversy in Karnataka, where Congress stakes are very high because they are going to fight election in Karnataka. But the Congress has an ostrich-like approach on many emotive issues. As V.N. Gadkil used to say that whenever there is any emotive issue, the Congress falls between two stools. And that's the problem. So courage of conviction. Rahul Gandhi has his own way. I mean, look at Chokidar Chor Hai to, Rafale to, whatever he's been saying on that COVID-19. But these things are not, average Congress person doesn't relate to it. Priyanka Gandhi went on saying, ladki hai, ladki hoon, lad sakti hoon, the color pink, without realizing that, whether it should have, some kind of traction among masses. And you see, Priyanka worked very hard, 209 public meetings, much more than, Yogi Adityanath or Akhilesh. But then it's not, I don't want to get into this world of animal kingdom and where some animals work very hard. They are nowhere in that kind of thing. They're not known for, being smart. So this is something, it's a question mark. So Congress is not talking enough. Congress is not sticking to its constitutional provisions, organization, and it has lost connect. See, Advaita, just one more thing I want to tell you, it is not for the first time that Congress is going down the drain or, facing kind of crisis. 77 also they lost, 89 also they lost, 96 also they lost, but they never had this crisis of confidence. I would lean on this thing, like somebody had asked about this thing, about why Gandhis are so important, because average Congress person is lazy. They're used to campaigning from Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi fetching votes. As Ghalib had said once, घबरा के वो बोले कि मर जाएंगे, मर के भी चैन ना पाया तो कहाँ जाएंगे. That's the problem of Congress people. They do not know where to go.
But the Gandhis are not bringing in the votes anymore. Haven't they realized that?
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm jumping on this, Priya, pardon me. But what I'm saying is, you look at all state elections, whether it was Kerala or Assam or even Tamil Nadu, it was Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi who were campaigning. Who are the other people who were key campaigners? Dipender Huda, Sachin Pilot, they're called. They also drive their strength from Priyanka Gandhi. So after, if you look at popularity, because I have done some kind of empirical research on this, see the popularity from the Congress workers' point of view, I mean, I'm talking about candidates' point of view, is Gandhi's, and then it comes likes of Navjot Sidhu or Azharuddin or Govinda, those who come from a film or celebrity background. So where is this entire G23? They're not sought after.
No, that's the G23, but even things like, Manish Tiwari not being on the star campaigners list. Then the other day, he made another revelation when Bhagwat Mann called him for his swearing in. He said, I've been called by Bhagwat Mann, but I was not called by Channi, even though Channi is one of my MLAs. So, this seems like there's some kind of petty politicking and a little bit of, showing someone their place. And all of that is also going on.
Also dividing the G23, like, again, they are wooing those they feel are influential, and, they feel that they have some thing say in the organization, like Azad and like Bhupendra Hooda. Kapil Sibal, Manish Tiwari, people who are very vocal and they consider them as lightweights, they are not, they are sidelining them. Otherwise, there is a vacancy for, leader of Lok Sabha, or, not vacancy, but Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is not the, Manish Tiwari would have been a much better face, or a Shashi Tharoor. They're not bringing these people in because that's a sort of punishment from the goodies. We made you union minister, and now you're speaking against us. So, they're also cutting those they can cut out. But just to get back to the question, your earlier question to Rasheed on the Gandhis, I think part of it is also that it is their misfortune that Rahul Gandhi is taking the mantle in the age of Modi. The whole narrative has changed. Politics of entitlement, the pedigreed privilege do not work anymore. They worked when Advani in 2014, when Advani was the face of the BJP. The Congress could very well handle him and take him down. But ever since Modi came, ever since the chai wala and the ordinary citizen has come in, the whole narrative of the hardworking and not hard-working people have come in. Rahul Gandhi and the Gandhis now having a name, pedigree, and a dynasty is actually a disadvantage. Scindia goes out of his way to say, "Main Maharaj nahi hu, main to aam aadmi hu, don't call me Maharaj." In the Congress, he was very happy being known as Maharaj Sahab. But here he suddenly that's, he'll say कि मैं भी अपना AC window नीचे करता हूँ. I don't have ACs in my car. That's one of the first things he said to Shivraj Singh Chauhan. I mean, to show that I am not a privileged, rarefied being. So end of the day, that is the problem. And also the Gandhis, what is Modi doing? He's taken the Congress game. His welfare politics was Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, NSC. That was, them, this whole left politics of the left. Modi is doing it, but he's doing it in a way that he is, saying, he's talking their language. When the Gandhis are doing it, they are being patronizing. Modi is doing patronage, but they are being, the whole thing, the whole attitude and the aura is like, oh, we have come down to sit with you. It's the whole air of Rahul Gandhi is like he's actually doing a favor when talking to you or when mixing with you. You can make out that he's making an effort. Priyanka is not so much, but even there, the whole atmosphere comes as if the royalty has come down. I think Ramchandra Guha wrote a very harsh piece, but at the end of the day, that they have that royalty stigma which helped dynasty, got people, is now actually working against them. And if there had been any other person head of the BJP, I think Rahul Gandhi would have been prime minister one day. But because he's up against Modi and the whole narrative has changed, I don't see him making the grade.
Has the narrative changed, Rasheed, or has the country changed?
Because I think neither. Nothing has changed. I think the opposition is simply being lazy. If you look at elections results of 2014, what was the percentage of votes that BJP got, 31%. In 2019, it became 38%. So I'm just saying, I'm not getting into this communal secular narrative and all, but fact of the matter is simply number games. If you assume that 80% of majority community and the party gets, 38%, which is less than, of 50%. So that means 52% of voters are not buying whatever the BJP has been saying. I mean, I'm not saying, and that is something that Akhilesh Yadav and Congress and everyone else can achieve. Mamata Banerjee did achieve. Or what did she do? She got 49% of majority community vote and 80-90% of the minority community vote. So it clicked. The problem with the Congress and Samajwadi Party and several others are they are not able to do this. So it is somewhere, that is what I'm saying, communication. The Congress keeps saying that it's not been able to communicate. Advaita, you are a very accomplished person. I don't have to say it. The number of areas you have done well. You remember, in any kind of private sector, if this happens, if sales or communication or marketing business is weak, what would you do? You will change that person. In the Congress, the person who's head of communication department 2024 is there even today. What kind of logic is this? So they keep saying, some Congress person had said, and I think I told in Priya's show, that there is a huge pool of talent Congress even now has. If you look at all over the country, but as the leader had said, Bharat ka ghoda race mein, race ka ghoda Bharat mein. So result is zero. He's Priya's friend, so that's why I'm quoting him liberally.
Is he from?
But Digvijay Singh is very quiet. He's usually very chatty, but nowadays he's very quiet.
Priya?
Digvijay Singh is your turf.
I think it's a serious thing, because the serious players, those who are stakeholders who have been in the party from 1970s at least, they are not coming out. They are not taking side. And if somebody is not taking side, that means that either that person is being sheer opportunistic or has given up. So there are many people, I do not know exactly what Mr. Digvijay Singh stands for, but there are a lot of people in the Congress, they are disillusioned because the Congress is not making efforts. You look at Assam election, it was not that difficult for the Congress to put up some kind of credible fight, but they didn't do it. So in many places, see, on May 2, 2021, the results came out in 5 states, including Bengal. BJP started, working in all these states that day onwards, like they have started from, March 10. The Congress would pick up threads, let's say in Gujarat, after September or so. So what Chidambaram is saying may be legally valid in the sense that what is the hurry of, in 3 months' time you want to elect president. But party cannot afford to have, be headless after March 10th, even for a day. That is a root cause of problem. So there is no sense of urgency. There is no accountability. All those people who were kind of observers or in charge of 5 states, they were given this on fact-finding thing. What has happened to Ashok Chavan report that had gone into what went wrong in Kerala? So Congress ought to know. There are so many Antony reports are there. So internally also there are a lot of questions that have not been answered. And what Sonia Gandhi does is a very easy way out. She just appoints a committee. So as somebody said, that जहाँ surgery की जरूरत है, वहाँ homeopathy की मीठी गोली खा रही है.
No, but have they, Priya? Have they? You've tracked them for a long time. Have they kind of just given up? Maybe it feels like it.
The uncharitable rumor is that the Gandhis are in, the B team of the BJP, and they are just doing this, I think, just to keep the, Arvind Kejriwal and Mamata Banerjee's out. So they are just occupying a space. That is what the deal is, that when you talk to Rahul and Priyanka or anyone also there, at least Rahul and team Rahul, you get the feeling that they are waiting for law of gravity. Kabhi na ek din to Modi girega and then we'll be there in place. They are being a reactive role. They're not being a proactive role. I don't see them, taking on, yes, Rahul Gandhi takes on Modi personally, but the campaign is flawed. Now, this is not what the public wants to hear. They don't want to hear Chaukidar Chor hai. They instead want to know, what will you do if he's giving 5 kg rice free, what will you do? What is your, answer to various issues? They're not picking up emotive issues. They are attacking a leader who is loved. I mean, if anything, the lesson has come from the 5 assembly elections that Modi's popularity, if anybody can survive COVID death, so har ghar mein hua hai, everybody knows someone who's died of COVID. And if they don't blame Modi for that, then I think the juggernaut, the Congress really needs to refigure itself and stop attacking Modi. That itself shows testimony to the popularity of Prime Minister Modi. Demonetization, I thought, it's because the poor versus rich narrative. That's why Modi made it. But COVID, for him to have survived the stigma of COVID, that means he is Teflon coated. And the Congress will have to figure out, or anybody will have to figure out some other narrative other than attacking Modi. That's one thing that I'm totally, one lesson from the elections. And the second part.
Yeah, sorry. Go on.
But I wanted to take up, Rasheed, where you talked about the people around Rahul. You talked about them not changing, like, for instance, the communication heads. They've been, Prashant Kishore has also mentioned it. When you are saying we lost because we could not communicate, you're still keeping the same team in place. Ditto for the guys, there is KC Venugopal, there is Ajay Makhan. These are the guys who have been Surjewala. I mean, I'm taking names because these are the names being taken by various people from the states and Congress leaders saying, "Hum kiske paas jaye?" We can't go to these guys. Where are you've seen the Camelot around the Congress presidents, no? There were leaders of stature. There was Azad, there was Ahmed Patel, there were Ambika Soni. There were leaders who had a connect within the organization. Now you have these guys which half the organization also will have a trouble. I think unke Google photo leke jate honge ki ye hai KC Venugopal hai, ye wo hai. He's being blamed for the party's problems in Kerala. Again, Rahul Gandhi, when the elections result, the day of the last election, he's having an ice cream in Wayanad. I mean, the elections are in the north and you're having an ice cream in the south. There is some connection that has to be there, which is the connect is missing, the team is missing.
See, that's the other thing. Is he trying to be cool? Because then there was this other shot of him playing badminton and all these Congressis standing there and clapping and wow. And, I mean, hasn't someone told them, like, look, this may be happening, but this is not what you have to project to the world.
So, Advaita, see, Priya talked about that ice cream. I mean, you see, these all things are rather, I think, harsh or uncharitable also. But they say that. So didn't you notice there were 3 scoops were there, 3 scoop ice cream Sunday, and the 3 scoops were actually represented the 3 states Congress was hoping to win: Punjab, Uttarakhand, and Goa. So that was the thing. The badminton.
Rasheed's own interpretation.
He's in command. That balancing act. Okay. So all these things are there, but this kind of optic management is not proving to be so. Actually, there is a reason for it. I think we need to look at it in a slightly more serious and sober note. What is actually happening is that Rahul Gandhi somewhere, because he has seen life of his father and his mother and his grandmother, and he has seen that over the years Congress built a huge kind of what do you call that, superstructure of people who benefited from Gandhis. They held several posts and positions and all, and he wanted to dismantle that ecosystem, which he failed to do. And so he has a grudge. He has a grudge against all those sort of union ministers, well-to-do, and like we call them, some of them are known as rootless wonders. And he tried to build a parallel, parallel leadership in states. Look at the kind of selection of chief ministers he had. I mean, he could not do it. He perhaps wanted a Scindia in Madhya Pradesh, a Sachin Pilot in Rajasthan, and someone else in Chhattisgarh. So somehow, I mean, many times he was, there was all those Congress folklore had it that Rahul used to say that my only government is in Chhattisgarh. So he thought Bhupesh Baghel is one of his kind of model chief minister. I don't know whether that stands not or not. So there are a lot of internal. You will be surprised that there are very few people who claim to know Rahul Gandhi, what Rahul Gandhi stands for. Like, people knew who Sanjay Gandhi was. There were so many friends of Sanjay Gandhi who were there, very much visible. They're still there. Some of them are still around. Then that was the case with Rajiv Gandhi also. But with Sonia Gandhi, that was not a case, but still there was all this network saying Sheila Dikshit, Mosana Kidwai, Arjun Singh, and so many others. But Rahul Gandhi's that support base, that band that Priya was talking about, is very thin and invisible.
Why is that the case? People also say it's very hard to meet him as well. He's
The
not
people
accessible.
are from outside the system. Na? His people, his core team is all guys who are not Congress leaders. That's the whole problem. If you ask Jitin and RP and why they left, one of the reasons is the people around Priyanka who've been put there by Rahul are all from JNU or from very, they seem like literally from Naxal leaders there. You know, one is a lawyer for a hard left, they're all from CPM and very, you know, this is not what the Congress ideology they feel is, you know, anyway, they're thinking the Gandhis are going too far out left. It's, you know, it should be left of center and not just the other way around. And B, they think these guys are not the kind of people who are surrounding them. They don't allow people to come and meet. They are the wall. When I went to about 10 years back, I remember going to Amethi and I was actually told that Rahul Gandhi ko hum phone karte hain, so we get an answering machine. Press 1 for appointment, press 2 for medical help चाहिए, press 3 अगर आपको college में admission चाहिए. So you know what kind of work you want. You know, the whole connect is not a machine, which may be a very great corporate thing, but the person wants interaction. They want people, and they were really upset about this whole answering machine business. And that was 10, 15 years ago. So end of the day, you have to be accessible. You have to, and Rahul Gandhi has a problem in terms of, I think, he's a bad face recognition, or he doesn't keep up. You know, most people, they feel they have a great first meeting, and then the next time they bump into Rahul somewhere, he kind of looks through you. So that itself for a leader is very dangerous. So accessibility, connectivity, nothing is there. And when they meet, the meeting takes place, it's always, you know, these it's more like, you know, you're being talked down to. You're being listened in patronizing silence. You're being talked down to. Hemanta, of course, made a big deal out of it with that whole dog biscuit thing. But a lot of people walk away from the meetings unsatisfied. So when you've made that effort, got a meeting after so long, and you're still not satisfied, then that kind of kills the whole purpose, doesn't it?
So what's the deal? I mean, he doesn't trust these people. He has a problem. He has trust issues, or he's wants a life and work balance. Or I mean, what is the deal?
I think many of these things that Priya is talking about, you see, he was schooled into it. He tried remember, I'll tell you a kind of brief historical context in the sense that when he joined politics in 2004, that time supposedly India was shining and Atal Bihari Vajpayee was Prime Minister, and it was expected that the BJP-led coalition will come to power. And Rahul Gandhi was to be a backbencher, learn ropes in opposition ranks, and kind of, move up, assist Sonia Gandhi, who was, Congress leader. But that didn't happen. So Rahul Gandhi from 2004 till 2008 or so did not have a role for himself. Then he started doing reforming, the Youth Congress and all, which turned out to be a, zero. I mean, it was just time wastage. There are people who supposedly advised him not to become a Minister of State, though he could have learned so much under Dr. Manmohan Singh from 2009 onwards at least. But he did not gain any that experience. So, and Rahul Gandhi was actually, so he remained little aloof. Remember his famous speech in Jaipur where he said in 2014, where he said that, I'm going to judge you. When he became vice president, he said, I'm going to judge you. I'm going to judge you hard. So Rahul thought that he will reward merit or some kind of, cerebral politicians and all, like he loved interacting with all those World Bank people like this former RBI governor and Abhijit Majumdar and sorry, not Abhijit Majumdar is our friend, Abhijit Banerjee and others. So those kind of things.
I don't confuse him with a Nobel laureate, at least, please.
So all these things that didn't happen. So Rahul's lack of access was actually part of Congress folklore from 2004 to 14. To say that he was pampering to his dog and all is a bit rich, because see, when he was in opposition and down and out, then of course you can make such unkind cut. I remember somebody telling me about meeting him or meeting Gandhi. He said, Allah miyan se milna aasan hai, falane se milna mushkil hai. So I said, why? He said कि जहर खा लो तो सीधा अल्लाह मियां से मिल लेंगे, और लेकिन यहाँ कौन सा जहर खाएंगे जो इनसे मिल ले. So congressmen have a degree of it.
They do have a sense of humor, and they need it nowadays. But I mean, someone like an Ahmed Patel was sort of the buffer, right, around the family, wherein he had their complete trust and he had an affable personality, so was able to liaise and chat with other leaders and iron out a few wrinkles. Have they found a replacement for someone like him?
I mean, KC Venugopal is supposed to be the new Ahmed Patel. Half the people have a grudge against him, saying that he is the one who directed Rahul wrongs. And B, these are all lightweights. You know, when that crisis happened with Gehlot and Sachin Pilot, and Ajay Makar and KC Venugopal were dispatched there, you think Gehlot gave them the time of the day? Even I don't think Pilot would have given them much time of the day in that sense. You need a senior person, a Huda or a Azad. If they had gone there, there would have been, you know, some kind of seniority and gravitas. Azad can easily tell Gehlot directly and talk to him. I don't think Gehlot would have entertained these chaps. So, end of the day, you need not just seniority, you also need someone who has some political sense. And these are all ciphers, they are lightweights. So, unfortunately, it's like begets like. I think Rahul Gandhi's got this huge distrust of the older guard. Priyanka that way is more savvy, but for some reason she's not being allowed to have a say or allowed to, you know, reach out. She's reached out to a lot of people, senior guys, older guys, whether it was Digvijay and others also. She kept her thing going. She was liaisoning a lot with Azad also in the UP time earlier before the G23. But Rahul Gandhi never did that. He's just got these guys, either he's got his computer types who got these Excel sheets and they want to give you tickets on questionnaire. The questionnaires are bizarre. They'll ask how many mobile users in your constituency. I mean, वहाँ पे पूछ रहे हैं how many caste, Brahmins and Bhumiyas and all are there in your constituency. ये पूछते हैं how many mobile users are there in your constituency. Now, this is the corporate way of finalizing candidates. Even this whole experiment with the Youth Congress, all the Gandhis have begun from the youth wings, na? Where the Sevadal Youth Wing, Sanjay Gandhi, Rajiv, that's the training ground for them to come up. Rahul ko bhi wahi kiya tha. But what did Rahul do? He used that experiment. Yes, intentions are very good, democratizing, having elections, but reality is different. No? So you can't just be a professor, and this finger wagging politics of Rahul is something I have a huge problem with. You know, even Congress leaders have a huge problem with. You cannot talk down to people. You cannot be finger wagging and say, I will judge you at the end of the day. There has to be, the old style politics where people sit and chat, the Purana, those cushions, where CWC क्यों होती थी पुराने ज़माने में. Now this all very corporate culture and sitting. The air of, you also build an atmospherics through a meeting, which is not there at all, the way, either in the optics or in the way the content also.
And the sort of, getting rid of Captain Amrinder Singh, who has for generations been connected with the Congress, has been a very tall leader for them in Punjab, multiple term chief minister. What kind of an impact, was there some messaging involved there as well? Because I was just watching Mr. Sunil Jakhar's interview, where he was speaking about Channi and the kind of things he was saying about him, right from sexual harassment to money, to etc. One has to wonder that, is the High Command even listening, or do they decide this is the guy, he is the right caste, so let's go with it? It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yes, I think, that exit of Amrinder Singh, the manner in which, of course, it created a lot of problem. And that's why I'm very surprised that it happened in presence of Sonia Gandhi. Even Sonia Gandhi continues to be interim president of the Congress party, because normally whenever these kind of things are happened, she's known to do these things in a very, I would say, in a manner that, it causes least, harm. Amrinder could have been told that, by the end of the day, this is, as he had said himself, 2017 election, that it is going to be his last election. I think the way this Sidhu was propped up, and then, of course, from Sidhu to Channi, that's another story. It became Amrinder versus Sidhu. And Sonia Gandhi, to be fair to her, and I'm saying as an independent biographer of hers, she, of late, from 2016 onwards, she actually gave Rahul Gandhi a free hand, because unless you don't, learn, fail, falter, commit mistake, you cannot learn. So therefore, I think there was no intervention from Sonia Gandhi, and Sidhu was, because Sidhu wanted to erase that Amrinder era. That was his prescription, that the agenda that he's presenting. Ultimately, actually, Sidhu proved to be right, in the sense that Punjab was, heading for a big change. People wanted to be away from this, what they call it, the Ravaiti parties. And if, Sidhu had his way, perhaps Sidhu could have emerged as an alternative. But that didn't happen, because midway they thought, people told me Mallikarjun Kharge told Rahul that, it should be, why not Channi? And then suddenly Dalit card was played and it boomeranged. So what I'm saying is that today, Advaita, when the BJP meets, I mean, they'll be meeting to elect a new chief minister for Uttarakhand. There will be a parliamentary board meeting. Mr. Modi may be having a final say, all important say for the Mr. Amit Shah. But at least they'll be going through this motion. In the Congress, both Sidhu and Chaddi were appointed without the CWC, without the General Secretary in charge making any kind of announcement. So there was not even a semblance, a fig leaf of some kind of institutional mechanism. And that is something I think is very grave, for which, I mean, Jhakar was referring to that.
But Priya, even Sidhu, he's still a mystery. Like, how did he get so powerful? And even when he had to resign, if you saw his tweet, it was sort of insolent, there was no humility in it. There was nothing in it. It was like, I've been asked to give in my resignation, so here it is. That's really how he came across. So I don't understand what is his hold and why is he given this much space?
That is a question, I have not been able to figure out. And, I agree in that sense, the removing Amrinder was needed. That I think whether Rasheed agrees or not, but that's definitely was, he was not going to win the Congress another term. But the way it was done sent exactly all the wrong messages, to the old guard, to the leaders, to, everything. The way it was handled was really, and it's that had boomerang on the Congress. Choosing Channi over Sidhu again was a good move, I would say, because at least, it was an experiment. Dalit Sikh, get that vote. At least it showed the Congress is thinking out of the box. And initially, he played the script. He was the Aam Aadmi to take on Arvind Kejriwal. He took on the Prime Minister when that whole security risk happened. So he showed bravado. He was really the darling of the media, and he was playing his part. What got the Congress down? A, that people wanted a different kind of politics away from the mainstream parties, and B, of course, this whole infighting. He apna party ghar nahi sambhal sakte, to desh kaise sambhalenge? One heard that a lot on the campaign trail. But Sidhu, that, your question is bang on. I don't know why Sidhu was given so much, because they should have done the logical conclusion. Use Sidhu to get rid of Amrinder, but once Channi is in place, get rid of Sidhu. Don't keep him hanging there, pointing out all that is wrong with Channi and all that is wrong with Congress. And this is, I know who propped him up is all clear. It's Priyanka. More than Rahul, Sidhu was Priyanka's choice. And, why he had such a hold over her, again, it comes down to the people that Rahul and Priyanka choose. They choose, they surround themselves with the worst kind of people. Even, in terms of whether the people who have credibility within the organization, forget mass leaders. None of this team of Rahul and Priyanka have been able to take the organization along. They have no history, they have no perspective, they have no legacy. So why are they surrounding the newbies? Is it because Rahul is so insecure that he doesn't want someone senior? Because that's the whole, what we were told, why, people like Scindia and Jitin and all left, is because they knew they'll never get promoted up beyond a point, because Rahul Gandhi should not be shown down. So that conversation is still carrying on even today, when, you need people to shine up and stand up and this thing, but Rahul Gandhi should not be shown down. Why is Rahul failing so badly? There is no Rahul model. If we ask, at least we know there is a Modi model, Gujarat model, Kejriwal had a Delhi model, Mamta has a West Bengal model. Rahul Gandhi does not have a Rahul model.
There's a Yogi model now.
Yogi model, or even a constituency. You can
4 years, 5 years.
He hasn't even nurtured a constituency that we can say, like for Sharad Pawar, we could always say that his constituency, or a Chinwada, there are family bastions that will always elect you. Amethi, he is ruined. He doesn't have a constituency model. There's no governance model, because Rahul Gandhi was not in government. We are told, yes, farmers loan waiver ka Rahul ka idea tha, Narega Rahul ka idea tha, but people are not stupid. They know the NSC did it and Rahul was just the face on the poster. So end of the day, what does Rahul Gandhi stand for? Like Rasheed said at the beginning, none of us know what Rahul Gandhi stands for. So what are we voting for at the end of the day?
So, I mean, with the AAP coming up, Rasheed, they should be worried, right? They definitely need to take stock of the fact that wherever the AAP is entering, they are considered an alternative for the Congress without doubt. And if then and the AAP has been very clear. We were on TV that day. We saw. I mean, once the results were in for Punjab, AAP was saying we are the natural alternative to the Congress. We're here. We're ready. And now that they've won a state, a proper state, they're also going to be taken more seriously by, other maybe people in the Congress also who are looking for another home.
Yeah. So, Advaita, allow me before I respond to AAP, I just what Priya was talking about Rahul Gandhi. See what happens electorally if party or leader is going down, then everything looks very bad and ugly. I mean, today somebody was telling me that in Goa, he said I was winning and then Rahul Gandhi came and then I lost. So it reminded me of an old anecdote. The PV Narasimha was Prime Minister and UP elections were held, and of course Congress performed very badly. So Minister was his name was Ramlal Rahi. He went and met Narasimha Rao. So Narasimha Rao asked him that why did you lose? He said I was getting reports that you are doing well. He said साहब मेरे साथ जो बड़ा वो हो गया conspiracy हो गई. Narasimha Rao said कि क्या हुआ? He said आप साहब वो मुस्लिम एरिया में आपके पोस्टर लगा दिए. So therefore, so it becomes leaders do become a kind of liability. I think the AAP story, I mean, Aam Aadmi Party story is highly exaggerated. They have done remarkably well in Punjab because there were the conditions were such. As I said, the people of Punjab were fed up with Rawaiti parties, so they chose if a Congress had a agenda, a kind of progressive agenda of Sidhu's agenda, I would say, if it was put in place, perhaps the result would have been slightly better. Look, AAP has tried its luck in Goa second time. They have not clicked. In Uttarakhand also they were there. Nobody knows where they, where they go. I mean, there was not a trace of them. You look at Haryana, they have tried their luck. So every state, I mean, in Gujarat, perhaps they will try, but they will be fighting the BJP and harming the Congress. So it will take a lot of time because remember, every Indian state has its own dynamics and flavor, etc. So to say that AAP will win but I agree with you on this extent that AAP is actually an insurance policy for the BJP for 2024. Because what it will do, there are over 200 seats where Congress and BJP are in direct contest, and if AAP is there, then in any case, BJP is winning 90% of seats, and AAP will ensure that BJP ends up getting not 90%, perhaps even 98% or 99% of seats.
So do you buy the conspiracy theory that the BJP is B team? Or is that Congress being paranoid?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they began as BJP's B team because Anna Hazare was, propped up. There was this whole theory that the RSS popped up Anna Hazare, the whole movement India against corruption against the Congress. But I think now they've taken on a life of their own rather than just a BJP B team. And it's interesting, both Arvind Kejriwal and Modi came into the national limelight around 2012, around that time when UPA was in power, just losing power. Both of them came up around the same time. And they both now, Kejriwal is unabashedly using the Modi formula. He's Modi light, whether it is the Aam Aadmi, whether it's a Chaiwala, whether it is Hinduism.
He really copies him, yeah.
He really copies him. And even, he's the Hindu nationalism. He's not taking on, he's doing exactly the things which is, I think now that will be the playbook because now you cannot be openly pro-minorities. Just don't be anti them as he did during the Delhi riots. But he did not go out of his way to help, take a stand on the whole Delhi riots issue or the CA. This is going to be now the stand of the opposition if, the way the narrative is going on. Nobody will turn out. The minorities will themselves vote strategically, whoever they feel is best placed to defeat the BJP, but no party is going to openly go out and woo them. There is going to be less and less of appeasement. We saw that with Akhilesh. Akhilesh refused to answer a question on the hijab controversy. This is something I think the Congress has not yet learned. But Kejriwal, Sharad Pawar, Akhilesh Yadav also, he's the Muslim messiah, but he's not saying anything on the hijab. So he's also realized that yahan pe nahi bolna hai. They will quiet, the silent vote will come, but do not openly go out because then you'll antagonize the Hindu vote. So that's going to be the new politics. And Kejriwal is a fast learner. I agree with Rasheed, it will take a while, but I do see him as coming out, as Raghav Chadda, the point that his quote is, we are the natural and the national alternative. It's happening. And you ask the question as to who is going to, a lot of Congress guys who are unhappy, like a Milind Deora, he can go to the Aam Aadmi Party in Bombay, in terms of the Congress who was feeling, which TMC was trying to do, cut and paste the entire Congress and take them to join the TMC. This is why maybe Kejriwal would be better at this thing because AAP has shown after Punjab, because it's also how many elections you win in Hindi speaking states, in terms of North. Punjab that way is closer North than West Bengal in that sense. So I think AAP is getting a lot of credibility and he's seriously going to be the, huge opposition face. He's going to come up. and an option for those who want to, break away from the Congress but don't want to join the BJP, they'll probably be heading for the Aam Aadmi Party.
See,
In
right
fact, if I may add, Manish Tiwari is supposed to go join. So I was in fact told by someone कि Manish Tiwari को बोल दो कि केजरीवाल सिर्फ एक ही मनीष के साथ काम कर सकता है. Only one Manish can work with Kejriwal. So Tiwari should not head towards the Aam Aadmi Party.
But it makes sense for Tiwari, na, because he's an MP from the state where Congress has been pretty much like kicked out in a very kind of this thing way. So if he needs to come back in 24, I think he would have to reevaluate his options.
I think people will start, disgruntled Congress people will start liking Rahul Gandhi if they get a chance to work under Arvind Kejriwal.
That's true. I believe he's, you see, nobody stood by him. If you look at it, whether Prashant Bhushan or, he doesn't really stand by his people.
No, he also seems to move on from them very quickly. Like they serve their purpose and then their history. I think only Manish Sisodia has sort of been there from the beginning till now. The others have all fallen by the wayside.
Yeah.
But this use and discard, I think he's also too ambitious. So which is what, he is, as Rasheed would say, I think Rahul Gandhi will start looking good once people have a tryst with Arvind Kejriwal. So maybe that's the way for Rahul Gandhi. He has to stand in line. After Modi, there'll be Kejriwal, and then people will realize Rahul is the best answer.
No, you also mentioned Milind Deora not being happy. Now, again, these were people who were considered to be his buddies, his chums. I remember they went to some, was it something in Colorado or something, right? Some summit together, and there were all these photographs. So they were like on personal terms, as much as you can be, I guess, if you're a congressman and interacting with the Gandhis. So where is the frustration for even these people? He's also lives in a state, Maharashtra, where the Congress is in power for whatever it's worth. Plus he has access to the Gandhis. So what's the issue here?
I think, Milind, the issue is, yes, they have an equation that goes beyond politics, because of Murli Deora and Rahul and Milind have done a lot of holidays together. Some have become public, some have not. So they do have a good access. But the problem was, I think Milind was speaking his mind and he was saying things that were not taken well at the end of the day. So there was an issue, towards, because he was the first one to actually say publicly after the first defeat, 2014, that the Congress cannot keep criticizing Modi. They have to have their own narrative. And remember, उस समय संजय निरुपम का phone आया, ये क्या narrative की बात कर रहा है? What is this? So, at the end of the day, what Milind he was being a little critical. Maybe he was, using his position, or that was not seen well because he is seen to be close to Rahul. But by and large, they've just alienated this whole, this reverse chain that they've done. They've alienated all those people who are close to them. They feel that, whether Jitin, RP and Milind, they were all part of Rahul's team. But somehow they've suddenly realized that, these guys were there only for the power. They're not there, because they thought they're close to Rahul, they should speak their mind. They were not allowed to, after a while. So that has also led them to be disenchanted, I think.
But also, isn't it, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate here, but isn't it also true that they did get a hell of a lot? I think they were all in their 30s or early 40s when they were made ministers, chosen and selected over people who had more experience, more time on the ground, more years in the Congress. So they did, have a certain privilege in the Congress.
I think Advaita, you're right, because Rahul Gandhi should have known. See, they are also very, this white collar professionals and all, they're very image conscious. They think that, for them, that's most important. So if the Congress is going down, they think, oh, this is a sinking ship. You remember what had happened to Rajiv Gandhi? I mean, much of this Rajiv Gandhi's downfall was also a result of all those, the two Aruns and Amitabh Bachchan and all those things or Satish Sharma, all his buddies. They had actually ran. You look back, most of them had left Rajiv Gandhi by the time he was trying to, stage a great comeback. And Rahul Gandhi also made that mistake. Now, the problem was, if you look at, you are being devil's advocate, I'm being devil's advocate, the other side. See, why would they? Because they've been professionals. Somebody was a banker, they're doing well in their life. They have, accountable to their sort of, not only their spouses, but their in-laws and a lot of this political legacy. So I think they are far more impatient than typical that Gandhi Tupi and Khadi, wearing Congress person. And this is something that Rahul Gandhi and Sonia, they should have understood this. So most people who have left the Congress are second generation, third generation dynasts, because they actually, they are very restless. They came in politics, the very logic of, look at all the celebrities also. They come to politics, मतलब उसका, as somebody was telling me, कि मतलब ठंडी उछालो तो नीचे रुपया गिरे. So, but if Attorney has become Chavanni, there is no point. You're laughing.
No, but I actually, I mean, I put a huge premium on loyalty. So, I do kind of look at this and I say, uh, this is a really bad time for the first family of what used to be, the Congress. They have been literally abandoned by the people who have been connected with them for generations. And then on the other hand, they've also abandoned people who've been connected with them for generations, like Captain Amrinder Singh. So it's sort of a very strange, like even 12, like say 10 years ago, now time is flying, huh, Priya? I was going to say even 10 years ago, and I realized no, it's longer than that. All these young Turks, so to speak, were the toast of the town of Delhi, at least, at all the summits, on all the TV channels, close to Rahul and his gang and all of that. And you just realize in politics there's no such thing as friends or enemies.
Yeah, they were
Or
the,
free
that we used
lunch.
to call
Or free lunch.
free lunches.
Although Taj Hotel lunch.
Taj Mansingh, yeah. And Oberoi also, remember?
360.
Yeah.
No, but then I think Advaita, if I made we used to call them the Cub class of 2004 because they were all pedigreed Cubs from fine dynasty kids who had come, but they were all part of that Rahul story that came with Rahul. So he was going to bring in this young professional Congress, with guys from Harvard, Stanford, Cambridge, here there, who were professionals who had worked also. Most of them had held jobs with I think Jitin had worked with Merrill Lynch. This one, Sachin had also worked. Chindya was in banking, so they were all had a background of professionalism and pedigree degrees. They would come in and they would make a change. That's why they were put into government to learn the ropes. But the problem is Rahul did not follow. So he was supposed to join the government, learn the ropes with them during the first year of Manmohan Singh. Then the narrative was that during the second year of UPA, Rahul would take charge with these guys who already in the system, who've learned as ministers of state, and then they would be given independent charge, and they would be the new India, the new Rahul Camelot. That did not happen because Rahul did not play his part. So once Rahul showed reluctance to join in, the message was this far and no further. They were given the titles, but they were not given real power. And that is why they felt cheated. Yes, I agree. They were given out of turn promotions. They were given the laurels of power before others who had actually worked hard in the party. But that is the way the Congress functions. Also, it is the dynasty. Like Rahul Gandhi himself said, no, in Boston, this is how India runs. Ambani ka beta Ambani banta hai, actor ka Amitabh ka beta wo banta hai. So this is how Congress ran, and this is how India ran, because that Congress was India up to that point. Suddenly, the whole narrative changed post Modi. But Rahul also before Modi. This is before Modi. This is in the UPA years. Why didn't Rahul step up? He just took 5 steps back. He was going to be part of this team. He should have joined the government and he would have taken over. If Rahul Gandhi had taken over as prime minister, as a minister, or even become part of the government, would the story have been different? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it would have certainly given him more gravitas and credibility, and the skin in the game side aspect of it.
Yeah, I think, Advaita, you see, another thing which is like, if you look back, you will realize that, you see, that the Gandhi's story doesn't come out. I mean, we do not get to know what is their thinking, what do they want, what have they seen. And I think that is in this time and age, like Narendra Modi thing, stories are many times one can say, okay, like some of it is like little bit of cosmetic touch also, the way Akshay Kumar interviewed him and he's talking about his past, etc. But still people, it's very engaging, and somehow see that nobody would believe. I mean, what I'm going to tell you next is that sometimes you see the Gandhis, particularly Rahul, I can say, he felt that dynasty should not be perpetuated. When Rajshekhar Reddy died, his son wanted to become, who subsequently became Chief Minister of Andhra, Jagan Mohan Reddy. But Sonia and Rahul resisted that because they thought that if they create that kind of precedence, when a sitting chief minister dies for whatever reason, then that person's, son or daughter should not be taking claim. And that is why Jagan was denied. But tell me, in today's time and age, who would believe it that Rahul Gandhi did not want Jagan because he was YSR's son? And look, the kind of loss, two successive elections, Congress has drawn blank. Andhra, United Andhra used to be the biggest kind of supply chain of Congress MPs in Lok Sabha. So everything has gone down the drain. So whatever Rahul Gandhi has tried to do has, boomerang. So this is also a story. I'm not giving a kind of sob story on the part of Gandhi, but I'm saying that Gandhi's side of story, and they should know. They don't give interviews, they don't interact. I mean, a lot of it's far easier to meet perhaps Prime Minister Narendra Modi or Amit Shah than to, and this is what many kind of channel heads have told me. And it's not of today, it's going on for last 10 years.
True, and that's the thing, if you are going to yourself be a dynast and have claim on being Congress president, then how can you begrudge a claim of Jagan to something similar? Is my question.
And also, look at if Jagan was not allowed, then why was Hemanta not promoted? Because you wanted Gaurav Gogoi to be next in line in Assam. So Hemanta was held
That was
back.
his father. That was his father who wanted it.
But Rahul played along. Otherwise, Rahul would have given Hemanta some, encouragement, because even by that time, you knew that the father was, losing his hold, and Hemanta was a rising
Tarun
star.
Gogoi, since I'm privy to some of it, you see, Tarun Gogoi was vehemently opposed to, rise of, Hemanta Biswa Sarma. And of course, I agree with Priya that maybe Rahul sided with Tarun Gogoi, but it was actually, but now nobody would, in retrospect effect, nobody would even, consider this, that it was Tarun Gogoi who kind of, kept that seat warm he wanted to keep the seat warm for his son, and that resulted in, Hemanta Sarma going to the BJP. So all these things are coming. That's what I'm saying, because that lack of electoral success, every failure is at Rahul's doorstep, and perhaps rightly so also.
Even this whole thing, Advaita had raised this issue earlier, or you had raised it, that Rahul was not given a free. I mean, we are told, Rasheed, you said it, that Sonia gave Rahul a free hand. Yet today we are told that Rahul doesn't want to step up because he's not been given a free hand. How many people believe this point, that Rahul has not been given a free hand? He's appointing people. Sonia wants Rahul to take over. Why will she not give him a free hand? Yet we are told by Rahul and his people that his whole grouse is that he's not been given a free hand. The stories, as you're saying, we don't know their point of view. The stories that have come out are told by a second or third person who claims to be in the know, and the stories are too bizarre to be believed also. They don't, either you give us concrete examples, they don't match with reality. Would you really believe that Rahul is not given a free hand? I don't believe it at all.
Rasheed, is he not given a free hand?
No, I think I will not say so much about Rahul Gandhi. I think he, in parts and patches, from particularly from 2017, December 2017, when he took over as Congress president till May 2019. Of course, he had free hand and he was Congress president. But I'm telling you that Sonia Gandhi, of course, had many kind of this kind of moral dilemmas where she had to cater to the organizational needs rather than what her son wanted. Because at one point in time, her son wanted, Janardhan Dwivedi and Motilal Vora and Ahmed Patel out. And, he had gone for how many days? I think it was 55 days or so he was away, he was sulking. Okay, and that UPA was in power. So all these episodes had taken place where Sonia was being sagacious and whether very judicious also and accommodating towards the organization's needs. So it's been a story of, I'm just saying, it depends upon whether you want to pick a particular episode or that. I think Sonia Gandhi had a kind of Lakshman Rekha. She did not allow Rahul Gandhi to become a Sanjay Gandhi the way Indira Gandhi had given kind of blanket power. I mean, this is at least the UPA years. That is how I look at it. Whether it was proved counterproductive or not, that is for history to judge.
And what about the siblings? Every once in a while there is a story that the siblings are close, but the camps don't get along, or the siblings are not getting along. So there's a lot of that there's an internal power struggle now. Robert Vadra has sort of come forward and said that I've been asked to fight from Moradabad. And also then they say Priyanka Vadra's son is quite interested in politics, and he's, I guess, in his 20s now. So there's a bit of that also happening around them.
Actually, if I may take this first, the siblings are close because they are brother and sister who've seen tragedy and it bonds the family together. So I think they are close. And I also think that it is Priyanka who is stepping back. She is, not, otherwise, she is the more popular choice, or she's an equal popular choice. If you talk to a lot of people within the organization, a lot of people feel that Rahul nahi karega, Priyanka is the face, but she is not putting herself forward. But there is a fight between the camps, and I would, if you just look at evidence on the ground, has he got Priyanka's best interest at heart by putting her forward in that UP campaign just 2 months before the election? That is when she made a grand entry. If Priyanka was your Brahmastra, you knew that she is a popular face, or if she was your last Gandhi, standing Gandhi, would you waste her on that campaign and bring her the way they brought her 2 months before the elections? Would you again put her through the grind in UP, or would you give her an easier state? Priyanka is good on organizational matters. She does enthusiastic cadre. Would you not make a general secretary organization instead of making someone like Kesu Venugopal? Priyanka is being used for damage control. She is being a sort of de facto Ahmed Patel role in terms of, especially with Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot. She also came in between various, fights here and there. She tried to hold Jitin back, Sindhya. She's been reaching out to these people. Then if she is playing that role, don't you think you should use her for that instead of wasting her in Uttar Pradesh, where she will fail? I remember a party worker telling me when Priyanka was asked to move out of a Lodi estate house, someone asked her, "Aap Rajya Sabha kyun nahi le lo?" Because you will keep your house and whatever. You know how the chamchas, the Congress people speak. And she actually put her hands out and "Mujhe koi de raha hai Rajya Sabha? Is anyone giving it to me?" So there is a yes, the Gandhis are close. I don't buy that. But if you just look at stark evidence on the ground, I do see there is a move to sabotage Priyanka at Rahul's expense. The people around her team, it's not Priyanka's team. These are people chosen by Rahul. Her schedule comes from Rahul, from the Rahul's office, not Rahul. So there is, I think, attempt to, whether it's Sonia Gandhi's thing that son ko aage badhao, daughter ko piche karao, whatever the reasons are, Priyanka is being held back. That's what I would say.
As a result, the result that she's had shown in UP is actually worse than what Rahul has done.
Yeah, perhaps that's the thing. But what I'm saying is, it's also extraordinary story in more than one ways. That if you look at that, look around it, there are hundreds of political organizations in India, abroad, everywhere. In democracies, you will hardly come across a precedence where siblings are there and mother is there and they all are like, so to say, first among equals. And yet there is no that kind of intense power struggle, palace intrigue, or cutthroat competition, all these things. So I think there is a lot of grace in the way the Gandhis have conducted themselves from 2014 onwards, while they were being out of power. Not to say about brother-in-law and others. So this is a kind of thing. I think all of them makes a lot of effort and sacrifices and swallows. I would say humiliation and other things to keep the other strong, emotionally strong. And that is where I think if you look at from Sonia and Priyanka's point of view, they think that Rahul has made a lot of sacrifices. I mean, he chucked his job. They was talking about all those young diners having job. Rahul also had a job with this consultancy monitor group in London. Of course, I don't want to get into his personal issues such as marriage and relationships, etc. Whatever. So they think they have a sense of thing belonging with Rahul Gandhi, that he has made a lot of sacrifices and they want to be mother and sister. They are always with him. And Rahul also recognizes that the decision to go in UP, everyone knew that it was a matter of whether you get seats and more, or you're going to get 2% or more votes. I think that was Priyanka's call. And I can explain that there were some reasons also, because organizationally, every fifth or sixth AICC voter comes from Uttar Pradesh. So if someone else was there, perhaps like the G23 is scouting for that support base. So out of that, if they had got hold of somebody in Uttar Pradesh, today, the Gandhis would have been on far more defensive. So I think everything is, that sense, worldly sense, calculated. It's just that life is politics particularly is too complicated a field to be guided by a script or a remote control. And no one should know better than Sonia Gandhi. Look at her own life from Orbosano to this place. So I think Congress is in need for a lot of fresh thinking rather than sticking to what it was in 1980s or 90s or in the first part of 21st century.
Yeah, I get this totally, because although they have a younger group who's in charge, their style of functioning is very old style. And when you compare that with Prime Minister Modi, who's extremely has a youth connect and has a very radical almost approach, to changing things in the political realm, and he has. And they're still sort of stuck in the old style of dynasty and this and that. And I think the exits of so many dynasts should be a good lesson for them in terms of, how you pick your winners and your team and your support base.
As they say ना कि हमारे बाप दादा ने घी खाया था, हमारी हथेली सूंघ लो.
But where are all the dynasts heading? They all headed to the BJP, which
I know. Yeah. The BJP can afford to take lots of people because lots of people want to be part of the BJP now. And I think that's the case, right? That's that everyone wanted to be in Congress back in the day. So I think BJP is going through that same cycle right now. And if they continue to be successful, it'll be all good. But if they don't, then it will be quite a reverse sort of exodus, because some of them are quite are migratory birds. And I'm sure the BJP knows that as well about some of the people who've walked in. So, but
professional politicians, I think, they're there wherever there is power.
Yeah. I think it's purely transactional in those cases. It isn't necessarily ideology. But thanks so much. Again, we didn't discuss Varun Gandhi, of course. There's one more Gandhi left who is in the BJP as of now. And let's see if he makes the move or if he's called in or I don't know. What do you?
You're a writer. You have a very keen eye. You should pen these things. They could make a very good web series.
I know. Advaita, do one.
Why don't you both consult on it and you give me the stories, because I can write the scripts, but I need the facts.
And you'll do it in a detached manner, no? So
I'm pretty detached from this to a large extent.
I was thinking of a title for that, the three Gandhis. It'll be quite interesting to come up with a nice. It's a good idea, Advaita, I think.
The Congresses will be burning effigies of ourselves. No, I think that's the other problem also. They need to chill out a little bit about these things. But what do you do?
That is what's, as we began by saying, they are the glue that holds the Congress together. If you try and pull down the Gandhis or make fun of them and take away their brand value, then the Congress itself is going to collapse. So they'll have to keep it up.
I guess so. But hopefully, they'll read more than the tea leaves because the G23 is not proving to be an effective challenger to the supremacy of the Gandhis in the Congress. I think I'm going to call that one out and say it. It may be interesting for us to see what they're up to and what they say, but they're definitely not going to be able to effect any change in a very real sense, apart from the headlines and all of that. So I think if the churn has to come in the Congress, it has to come from within. It has to come from the Gandhis really shedding that far left perspective of them, because they're just moving further and further and further away from the center. And that's not going to work out really well for them. So they have to be a little more pragmatic. But both of you, you're the best people to talk to about this. And thank you so much for sparing the time. And I hope you enjoyed your debut appearance, Priya, on my channel. I'm always on your show, but
no, I did enjoy it. In fact, I was, the time is actually, I just checked, we've actually been speaking for an hour.
Today your usual gang was not there.
I didn't call them because I didn't want this to be like a debate or a heckling show, they're very badly behaved people. So
are you complimenting us?
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to change the dynamics even in my camp. I'm having a similar situation of a G23, sort of G2 more like it.
I hope you get a good feedback, because that's what matters now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, वो Congress के vote की तरह ना हो, कि there's so few.
But for once you had your panelists agreeing and not heckling. So then
Yeah, because I wanted to discuss this, and we can of course do that old style also, good fun debate also on the Congress, because that's always there. But I just feel that it's important to have an opposition, and it's important to have a responsible opposition. And it's very easy to bash the Congress. In fact, I've stopped doing this, frankly, not because I'm a great fan of what they're up to, but purely because I just feel like it serves no purpose. I was far more involved in discussing what they're doing and things like that a couple of years ago than I am now, which is indicative of just them slipping out of even public consciousness, which I hope they realize is a really scary thing. It's one thing not to be in power. It's one thing to be, uh, to not win elections, but it's quite another to be slipping out of public consciousness, and people like me who are not necessarily supporters but still track you. And even I've stopped pretty much tracking them.
Like the Gadgil used to quote Churchill to say this, no, that abuse me, criticize me, but please don't ignore me.
Yeah. And I'm not making an effort, and a lot of people are not making an effort to ignore them. It's just happening. So, in the interest of democracy, in the interest of having a vibrant opposition that actually talks about important things and not frivolous things, one always hopes that something happens, something positive comes of it. So thank you both.